I'm Sharon Brous. I'm a rabbi in Los Angeles at Ikar. Many years ago when I was in rabbinical school, I came across a Mishnah in Midot, and I knew when I saw it that it would be a meaningful and important text for me, but I had no idea how. And I've actually come to understand years later that most of the extraordinary teachings that become my core and central Torah in my life are things that I came upon by accident and didn't fully get when I got them. So this one I photocopied, I folded it up, and I kept it for years. And now it's been 15 years since I got my smicha, since I was ordained as a rabbi. And over the course of time, as I have grown and as our community's grown, I've come to understand this in ways that I never could have imagined as a young rabbinical student years ago. The text is from the second chapter of Midot, and what it's describing is the architectural layout of the Beit HaMikdash, of the temple. And what would happen is that hundreds of thousands or millions of people would come up to the Beit HaMikdash, and they would go to the courtyard in order to pay tribute on their pilgrimage. But in this room, the courtyard space, there was one entrance, and that entrance was also used as the exit. And so the Mishnah tells us that people would come up and they would walk in through the entrance and they would turn to the right and they would circle all the way around the perimeter of the courtyard, and then they would walk out the very same entrance that they walked in. And now you have to imagine hundreds of thousands of people, like really throngs of people walking in, walking around the outside, and walking out. And this is what nearly everybody was doing, except there were some people who would walk in the very same entrance and they would turn left instead of right. And those people who turned to the right, every time they saw someone who had turned to the left, each one of them would stop and they would ask, Malach or Malacha. Essentially, what's up with you? What happened to you? And the person who walked in and walked to the left would have to say, my heart is broken because I lost someone I love. Or I'm shattered. The relationship that I really thought was the one just ended. Or I'm sick with worry because someone I love is very, very ill. And then the person walking from the right to the left would have to stop and give words of comfort and go on their way. What's so amazing about this text, from my perspective, is that this is an interaction that nobody wants to have. The people who come in and are walking to the left, all they want to do is be at home, curled up in a ball in bed. They do not want to be in this space filled with hundreds of thousands of people, all of whom are doing totally fine, precisely at their moment of greatest grief and greatest pain. And the people who are going in to the right, they're doing fine in life. They don't want to be confronted by all that pain and all that heartache and all that grief. And yet our tradition says that this is where holy space is born. This is how we actually create holy community, by showing up, both of us, both when our hearts are broken and when we're doing okay, but we're able to see that someone else is hurting and broken, and actually being present enough to be able to give some love and some support, to be able to receive some love and some comfort in our greatest hour of need. When we create holy community together today, this is exactly what we're striving for. We're recognizing that on the most basic level of human psychology and human spirituality, that there is pain and there's brokenness in the room at the very same time that there's joy and there's love and there's wholeness of heart. And if we can actually create spaces that can hold all of that full expression of the human experience, then we can actually achieve some measure of holiness together. And so we're in dialogue with each other, some of us lifting and some of us being lifted, and together really creating a holy experience.